Una silla de masajes puede parecer extravagante. 8 configuraciones diferentes, intensidad ajustable, además es calefaccionado. Y se siente tan bien. Sí, una silla de masajes puede parecer extravagante. Y 2, bueno, aún más. Pero cuando esas sillas de masajes vienen con un auto, se vuelven bastante prácticas. El nuevo Volkswagen Tiguan 2025 con funciones premium como los asientos delanteros con masaje disponibles. Solo parece extravagante.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. Checking off the boxes on your to-do list is a great feeling. And when it comes to checking off coverage, a State Farm agent can help you choose an option that's right for you. Whether you prefer talking in person, on the phone, or using the award-winning app, it's nice knowing you have help finding coverage that best fits your needs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
War Eagle, and welcome to another edition of Ever to Podcast. This is our regular get-together and an audio show to catch you up on the latest Auburn news, discussion, scuttlebutt across the world of being in the Auburn family, out and about when you're on social media too, to cover the Auburn experience, which is all about, to us, Auburn sports, Auburn culture, Auburn family stuff. An easier way to say it, though, if it's orange and blue, it's what we do. So thank you so much for joining us in what we're going to be doing today. Today's episode is 58 total shows. Today's date is August 27, 2025. I'm your host, as always, Kyle Loomis. Today, we've got a bunch of smaller news stories. Not a lot of big stuff out there like we've had the last couple of weeks, but we're going to touch on a brand new addition of Auburn baseball persuasion to the MLB, making it a very significant number for them, a new partnership at Toomer's Corner, and then we've got just a bunch of small things that we're going to try to dive into all here, some little bit of football talk as well. So let's get started right there. I know that's where most of your minds are. Let's talk about any of the current season football news stuff that's out there right now. We heard from some of the players yesterday. There's been other media members that have shared some other interviews. The ones through the athletic department we provided are Jackson Arnold and Damari Alston. So if you haven't checked them out, you check out their Q&As, interviews that we put out on our YouTube channel, Facebook, and you can hear their full statements. I would highly encourage you to do that. Really, the biggest takeaways that I have from that is that it just seems that there's a lot of confidence, especially coming from Jackson Arnold, about this team, about himself and his team kind of putting the past to the side. There's a lot of people that continue to want to hold, which is ironic because you probably wouldn't want your past held against you, but hold the past against him about what happened at Oklahoma. A lot of context, a lot of times missing in those conversations. But this seems like a guy who's just ready to prove himself. Same thing for Damari. Damari we heard from also earlier in the year, earlier in practice. And he also is just seeming like a guy that's very confident, ready to show that this is his time to shine. So I really like what I'm hearing from him just in the interviews and the Q&As that we've had the opportunity to get through the athletic department about what he thinks about the season, what his performance is going to be like, what the running back room as a whole is going to be. He's been very complimentary of Jeremiah Cobb, so that's been a good thing to hear from him and from Jackson. Also, some good interviews yesterday if you haven't had a chance to hear about those. Auburn football also announced that they're going to be doing something special this season for brother Chet Williams, who tragically passed away several months ago. Very, very sad. And he was the 26-year chaplain for the Auburn football team and impacted so many lives. We've certainly talked about him in great detail here on this show, I believe, and definitely on the main podcast, The Auburn Experience. But they are going to honor him with a decal on the back of the helmet this season, which will say BCW. That's a little blue circle kind of connecting with the orange power stripe right below the SEC logo on the back of the helmet. So be looking for that. Clint also I think, wants to talk about that, so we may have him on the show, the Auburn uniform guy, pretty soon here to talk about that a little bit more detail when the time arrives for that. So those are the biggest news things really right now of any significance within the football realm. I'd always like to encourage you to check out our YouTube channel because we've got our simulation of college football 26, the Auburn versus Baylor game. It's a good watch, folks. You do not want to miss it. So you should predict what the score is going to be on that and go watch it and find out for yourself. It's about a 10, 11-minute watch, so not too bad. It should get you through a break or something at work today or just when you have some time at home. Check that out as we prep for Friday. It's almost here, folks. Just 2 days away. Get excited. All right, let's talk about this is technically football related. I grant you that. But obviously, I know it's not the most exciting news. It may be a little bit weird. There's a new partnership that's been announced in relation to Toomer's Corner in our annual tradition of rolling Toomer's Corner, specifically the TP that we throw out there. This year, Dude Wipes, which I think is the first time I've ever heard of them, maybe I've heard of them before, is going to be partnering with Auburn University to build awareness around that TP is for the trees. TP is for the trees is their quote that they have here. They're partnering not just with Auburn Athletics, but more specifically, their now brand ambassador, student athlete ambassador, Jackson Arnold. Look, I know there's a lot of jokes that can be written with this already. Some of them are a little bit too preemptive and early for things. But certainly this is a very unique, eye-catching, and interesting partnership. So essentially what's going to happen here, they're encouraging fans to not be shy about tossing the TP at Toomer's Corner. It's also a partnership with Play 5 Sports, which you've heard a lot about, is the group that's kind of managing a lot of this content, media, NIL stuff for Auburn and partnerships like this. What it's going to do, alongside Jackson Arnold helping promote it, high visibility branding across Jordan-Hare Stadium, signage in Neville Arena. There's going to be product samplings of Dude Wipes. You can go learn a little bit about them at their website, and product activations that you can get at those locations. And they are being known now as the official victory wipe of the Auburn Tigers. A lot of stuff to be said there. I'm just going to leave it leave it there. I seriously, I know we can have fun with this, but I'm glad that the student athlete is getting an opportunity and find a creative way to work it back into Toomer's Corner. So, as they say, TP is for the trees, the official victory wipe of the Auburn Tigers, Dude Wipes, and Auburn Sports, apparently. All right, another cool story yesterday that I think got mixed in with a lot of things and I hope didn't get missed. History for Auburn baseball's program and for an individual. Mason Barnett has officially been called up to the big league, big show, the MLB, by the Athletics. I was about to call them Oakland, but they don't go by that anymore since they're about to move to Vegas, so they're just the Athletics. Mason Barnett called up by the Athletics, which officially brings the total of Auburn baseball program history players making it to the MLB, the actual the show, is 63. Mason Barnett is that 63rd, and he's the 12th since the beginning of 2020. All of those, mind you, under Butch Thompson. It's the 25th former pitcher for Butch Thompson's coaching tenure, across all, I would believe, to get to the big leagues, and the 19th that he's had since 2014. So this is another thing with the pedigree of him being known for pitching and what he's been able to do, getting people into the program and getting them to the league and getting them an opportunity, in essence, to become the next Auburn Tiger in the MLB. For now, though, we keep marching up, and it's been moving up pretty steadily. 63 total Tigers have made it to the MLB. Congratulations to Mason Barnett. Here's a bunch of small things that I want to cover, and I thought this was really cool. I just saw this coming across my feed last few minutes here. Y'all, if you know me, if you've been on the main podcast, how much I love homecoming weekend. And I loved that when I was there. I love it now when we go back. It's just a great time. It's a great experience. We got a pretty cool Grand Marshal this year. It's not in the sports space, but it's someone that you know of, you've probably heard of. It's probably one of our most prominent Auburn celebrities out there. Octavia Spencer will be the Grand Marshal for the homecoming parade. That was announced by Aubie today on social media. That is pretty dang cool. So I would highly recommend that if you are planning on attending the parade this year, that you find a way to get there early and set up, because if you don't, you're going to be lacking and trying to find a space to see all that. I would imagine this is going to draw a big crowd, not just to see the traditional parade, because it's a big, long parade with the floats and the sororities and the fraternities, the other organizations on campus. Aubie's there, the band, of course, but now Octavia Spencer is going to be leading the way as the Grand Marshal. That is pretty dang cool right there. All right, let's talk about tennis, women's tennis. We meant to talk about this yesterday. This is another cool thing that's happening in the Auburn sports space that I think is getting missed a little bit. If you are aware of women's tennis, the name DJ Bennett, if you're not, you should be, because she's now the number one in the ITA rankings. The ITA is very prominent in the fall season of tennis, where most people focus in the spring, because that's when you're playing the other teams normally, but there's a lot of ITA individual and team championships happening even right now, I believe. I think it's kind of getting going. But DJ Bennett, Auburn women's tennis very own DJ Bennett, is your number one in the whole of the collegiate rankings there. She's number one. It becomes the first player in Auburn history, Auburn women's tennis program history, to achieve that top ranking spot. I would wonder, now I'm kind of thinking if that's for men and women now. I'd have to look at that up, but it says the first player in program history, so I'm going to take that means women's tennis. And then also in doubles, keep this in mind. This is just her as an individual where she's ranked number one. In doubles, her partner Bowers, also together, they have earned the number 3 national ranking. So DJ Bennett, not only in singles is number 1, but is in the top 3 in her doubles group in the ITA rankings. That's pretty incredible. If that doesn't give you a reason to come out and check out the women's program this year, there's one opportunity in the fall. There's going to be a lot more in the spring. You need to do it. Do yourself a favor. Do your fandom a favor, and come check out DJ Bennett and the Auburn women's tennis team. So we're going to pause. I think we'll pause right there. There's a couple other things that I wanted to hit, but we're going to save those for tomorrow because, wow, that was a lot to throw at you in just a quick show like this. I want to remind you, today is Wednesday, so if you're listening to the show today, please come by. Auburn Family Night is tonight. It's our live call-in show where you take center stage. We're going to take calls. It's very easy to call in. All you got to do is click a link, and you can be on camera or off camera. But it's all about you tonight, so come to Auburn Family Night. If you can't join us at 9 Eastern time on YouTube, you can watch the replay as well. But do check that out. We'd love to see you over there and spend some more time with us this evening. As always, drop us a line. You can utilize our DMs, our direct messages on social media. e2cnetwork@gmail.com is our email. Always want to hear from you about anything, whether you want something talked about on this show or another, or just something addressed. Let us know there. Thanks for hanging out. Until we talk to you again.
This episode is brought to you by Netflix. Becoming the most valuable sports franchise in the world doesn't happen without risk. A man who's willing to bet it all, and the players ready to make their own luck. America's Team, The Gambler and His Cowboys, is the story of the 1990s Dallas Cowboys and Jerry Jones's impact on NFL history. Featuring interviews with iconic 90s players and more. Watch America's Team, The Gambler and His Cowboys, streaming now only on Netflix.
War Eagle.